6 races down, 6 races to go. We are starting part 2 of the season for the ADAC GT4 Germany. The narrow streets of Nürburgring have been replaced by the flooded circuit here at the Nürburgring. Weather conditions, well, it's warm enough at 18.4 degrees centigrade, but as is almost traditional here at the Nürburgring, it is absolutely chucking it down with rain. It was in dry conditions this morning that Gabriel Piana earned his 9th pole position in the ADAC GT4 Germany, but he was pushed all of the way by the Aston Martin with Philip Gogolok at the wheel. Zach Speed ESM have been working hard on the setup of that car, and it looks as though they finally struck on it because he was looking so rapid. Philip Gogolok, who was in provisional pole for much of the qualifying session this morning, qualifying eventually in 2nd place. The winner from the streets of Nuremberg, Josef Knopp, starts in P3, and in P4 we welcome back to the grid all the way from Jamaica. Weren't expecting this weather, were you? Thomas Gore and Senna Summerbell, no longer in the Sape Audi, but in something completely different. They are in the Avia WS Motorsport Porsche, and we are delighted to have them back on the grid. They are 2 of several drivers that are making their return or indeed debut this weekend. We have Damon Suzishin, who we welcome back to the grid, going pro, this time with Razzoon More Than Racing in a rather unusually for them, a BMW. We also welcome to the grid the team from Hong Kong, KCMG, with Tom Bewley and William Exton at the wheel. The 2 drivers from New Zealand, Tom Bewley, who was first in the 2023 New Zealand Toyota 86 Championship. His prize, well, was to come and sit in the rain at the Nuremberg and experience GT4 international racing. William Exton finished 3rd in the championship, and they've been selected by Toyota Gazoo Racing New Zealand for their GT4 debut. We saw it last year with Brock Gilchrist and Ryland Gray. They guested here with KCMG this time last year. They did very well with the 20th and a 10th place. They've been preparing for a fair amount of time. They've been here since Monday. They've been in the simulator. They've had seat fittings and testing here on Thursday. They weren't prepared for this weather, though, were they? Another name returning to the grid in the BMW. Has the number 48 on the door. The FK Performance BMW is Max Osten. The 2-times winner in GT Masters is replacing Mo Ritson for this weekend. Mo is not well at all, and we say get well soon, Mo Ritson. We're sending you all the best wishes here from the Nürburgring. And I know actually Max Osten is so pleased to be on the grid, but he's absolutely gutted because his good friend Mo Ritson, he would rather be racing against him rather than replacing him. The wildlife here are enjoying the bird bath across the track. They might want to scatter in a bit because it's about to get very, very noisy. Because of these conditions, there is going to be a minimum of 2 laps behind the safety car. There may be more. So once the cars get rolling, the clock will start ticking down. It is a 60-minute race plus 1 lap. If we can get through this in one piece, we will be amazed. It's going to be exciting. It's the Nürburgring. It's exactly the weather conditions you expect when you rock up here. But it is a real test for many of these drivers. Some of these drivers are learning the hard way in at the deep end, quite literally, as they learn to tiptoe through the puddles here at the Nürburgring. So the instruction has been given to clear the grid. The engines are running. This is going to be a challenge. The second half of the season, we're starting to turn our attention towards championships, and in the championship standings, Mikael Schrey and Gabriel Piana, our pole sitters, are leading the way by 25 points ahead of Finn Zulav and Josef Knopp. So championship leaders starting on pole. Josef Knopp and Finn Zulauf starting in third place. It's Josef Knopp who is at the wheel. Between them is Philip Gogelok, who's really going for glory this weekend. He's sharing with Jan Marszałkowski. He's probably not thinking too much about championship. He'd love a little bit of silverware to take home with him. I have no doubt about that. But a wonderful qualifying from Senna Sommerbell in the AVU WNS Motorsport Porsche, showing what they can do. They certainly seem to be suited to the Porsche a lot more than they were the Audi that they started the season on, and in the distinctive Jamaican colours, adding a bit of colour and excitement to the grid. So the cars now starting on their first formation lap, and already we've lost one. Tom Edgar from Great Britain. That is how slippery it is. He's qualified mid-grid on the 7th row in the very unlucky 13th position, because the car has swapped ends. He's able to rejoin, just getting on the power. Traction at an absolute minimum here, really limited on traction. You'd think from Great Britain he'd know all about rain, wouldn't you? But there you go, the rest of the field goes through. He's going to have to join somewhere near the back, because the race is effectively running now behind the safety car. Gabriel Piana would be quite happy if we spent the next 58.5 minutes behind the safety car, but I don't think that is going to happen somehow. The rain, well, I'm looking out the window, it's properly chucking it down. But it has been coming and going all day. We've been having torrential rain, and then it stopped. We've just had a DTM race where we saw Kelvin van der Linde take his second win of the year in the torrential rain. So it was an exciting race there. We're ready for an exciting GT4 race with Gabriel Piana on pole position. Philip Gogelok no longer alongside, but behind. Josef Knopp and Senna Sommerbell lining up third and fourth. In fifth, Leon Vassather, one of the stars of Nürburgring, has even Eccleshit. Good qualifying from him for sixth. In seventh, Mattis Plushkal and Jan Philip Springhoff. I think he was doing the coach safari as one of the tour guys. Andreas Jochimsen and Enzo Juliet are next. And then in 11th, Tano Neumann ahead of Max Rosam. He'll be good from there. Keep an eye on the number 46 car. Tom Edgar, well, he should be in 13th. I don't think he is any longer. Niels Truger is next. And then the guesting from New Zealand, Tom Bewley with Marcus Scheller. Emil Yerdrum and Simon Birch line up 17th and 18th, and then Adrian Rushny and Max Kronberg on what would have been row 11 of the grid. David Lackner, Gianni van der Kratz with his new teammate for one weekend only, and Lachlan Robinson, who brought out a red flag in qualifying this morning. And welcome back, going pro, Damon Sazishin. It is a baptism, quite literally, of fire for him. The birds are playing dare with the traffic there. Wonderful stuff. It's good to see the wildlife are not scared off. You want to get out of the way, chap. So you can see the clock is ticking. The big advantage Gabriel Piana has is that when this gets under green flag, he will have a clear track in front of him. The visibility is absolutely zero. They've got slick tyres on standby in the pit lane. Spoiler alert, you ain't gonna need them, because it's gonna be a wet track, I think, for the next 56.5 minutes plus one lap. If you're new to GT4 racing, to remind you, to tell you that there is a pit window that will open 25 minutes into the race. It will remain open for 10 minutes, and during that 10-minute pit window, every car will be required to come into the pits for a mandatory stop and driver change. It is not a performance pit stop, so there is a minimum pit stop time of 95 seconds from pit entry to pit exit. We talked about the championship. Well, there is your confirmation. Finn Zulauf and Josef Knopp, they are a race win behind Michael Schrey and Gabriel Piana. We've got a red flag out. Oh, that is a shame. So the race directors have clearly decided that conditions are going to be too extreme to get this underway. So the instruction has been given to drive into grid positions. I don't think that Tom Edgar is going to be able to rejoin in the position that he qualified in, because the race has officially got underway. But this is a real shame. So we really hoped this race was going to get underway, but of course safety is paramount, and what we don't want is an entire field of GT4 cars stacked up in the turn 1 barrier. And I have to tell you, turn 1 is a tricky corner. Here at the Nürburgring, and here's Philip Goglock saying, get out of the way, I want my spot back. This is going to take a bit of sorting out. So as the rain comes down, yes, here at the Nürburgring, well, we know what it's like to drive in the wet here, because this place has its own microclimate, and 1 minute it's sunny, next minute it's raining, and sometimes it's even snowing. We have the mighty Nordschleife in the background, the green hell. Sadly, we're not running on the Nordschleife this weekend, or in these conditions. It wouldn't happen anyway, would it? But we are on the sprint circuit, the shortest configuration. It's 3.629 kilometers around. That equates to about 2.254 miles, 11 turns, 4 to the left and 7 to the right. It's a fair bit of undulation. You look at this on TV and you think, oh, it's a fairly flat surface. There's a lot of undulation in it, and you can see from Andreas Jochimsen's perspective what the view is like. Frustration for these drivers. It is 3:20 local time. You had qualifying first thing this morning. You've been hyping yourself up, preparing yourself, getting ready. You're in the car, you're on the formation laps, and then it all comes to a stop and almost a sense of anti-climax as the cars come back to the grid and we wait for news to see what we're going to do about getting this race underway. The forecast, well, it's suggesting that the rain is here for the afternoon in varying degrees of heaviness. Leon Wasserther there, who was one of the stars at the Nürburgring, and it was his battle with Max Rosan, the real highlight of the first race. We visited the streets of Nuremberg, the Nürburgring, back in early July, and it was very entertaining. Those narrow streets, that very short circuit, provided us with some wonderful racing. In race 2, it was very much Porsche benefit. 6 races, 6 cars. 6 races would have been fun. 6 cars in the first 6 places in race 2, and they were all Porsches. It was won by Finn Zulauf and Josef Knopp, with Simon Birch and Denny Berndt. What an entertaining duo they are as they rattled around the streets of Nuremberg with Max Kronberg and Hendrik Still in 3rd place. It was a very entertaining first ever street race for the ADAC GT4 Germany, and I expect that is a contingent coming out to make decisions and to decide what to do next about this race. As I've already mentioned, it is race 7 of a 12-race season. We will have a little break after this of a few weeks, and then we head to the Red Bull Ring in September for round 5, races 9 and 10. And then it's Hockenheim in October for the season closer, where we will confirm the identity of our champions, and it will be a new champion from last year because, of course, Mike David Ortmann and Hugo Sasser are not defending. Mike David Ortmann, who has now moved on into ADAC GT Masters and has been entertaining us there with the 2nd place in the GT4 Championship last year, Denis Bulatov, and they've become a driver pairing, and it's been great to see them in the ADAC GT Masters. The junior champion was Simon Conner-Prim. He also has moved into the GT Masters. The trophy champion from last year was Marat Kairov. He's not defending this year. The team champions were Avia WNS Motorsport, and they most certainly are defending, and with 4 cars on the grid. The Senna Summerbell and Thomas Gore car being the 4th one that was being added for this weekend. They are in a really good position to defend that that championship title. It's not a lead at the moment because Hofer Racing by Bonk Motorsport lead the team championship with 127 points. 17 points behind is Avia WNS Motorsport, and Hofer Racing by Bonk Motorsport. There's the rain-sodden spectators that look on. Hofer Racing by Bonk Motorsport. With the duo of Gabriel Piana and Michael Schrey, they won the championship in 2021. They were a very strong partnership. And they are in a very strong position to do it again in 2024. Mike David Ortmann and Hugo Sasser were the first ever two-time winners in ADAC GT4 Germany. And even better than that, they did it back-to-back in 2023 and 2022. So there will be a new name to last year on the trophy, but it may well be a repeat from 2021 with that duo getting back together, the old team back together again. But I have to say, Finn Zulauf and Josef Knopp have other plans, and they are very much planning on keeping the pressure on Piana and Schrey all the way to the end. And when you get conditions like this, very tricky conditions, it only takes one mistake, and suddenly the 25-point lead can be wiped out in an instant. In the overall championship, in third place, Max Kronberg and Hendrik Still. Max Kronberg, who is also leading in the trophy category by 55.5 points from Tano Neumann. And then fourth in the overall championship, Marc Di Fulgentio and Enzo Juliet. A fairly rags to riches kind of racing they've had this season, sometimes up the front and sometimes involved in the dramas. A fifth in the championship, 56 points adrift, and Max Rosam and Leighton Furion, they have proven to be a very potent combination. They've had a fair bit of bad luck, but keep an eye on the number 46 car. They had a non-finish at the season opener, Oschersleben, followed by a fifth place. That didn't really reflect their performances. They've had a couple of second places, but they are very much on the ascendancy as they start to climb up through the rankings. In sixth place, even Eccleshick and Ferdinand Winter. I'm just having a message from our good friend Arnaud, who is looking at the circuit. He says, this is the toughest rainstorm I've ever seen in racing. The first sector is a swimming pool. So thanks, Arnaud, for the tip-off there. I know he is the man on the ground who is keeping us updated. So he is saying the conditions are about as bad as it gets. So we're just waiting for this storm to pass through, well, certainly for the rain to back off a little bit. But with Sector 1, something of a swimming pool, not what we expected. Well, I'd say not what we expected in August at Nürburgring. Is exactly what we expected. But you can see how much water there is on the track. I've had no notifications from race control as to when we might get this back underway. But I expect that when they do feel as though there is a bit of a break coming in the clouds, they will get the cars running. So the ADAC man holding his hands out. Yes, it's raining, I can confirm. Well, at least it's not the fog yet. The other issue we often get at the Nürburgring, apart from the rain and the snow, is the fog. Certain people have been saying, oh, we might get that tomorrow. Well, I sincerely hope not. The GT4 race tomorrow is last on the programme at 3:15 local time, so we've got the best opportunity to potentially avoid the fog. Lovely to have lots of people here this weekend, enjoying what has been, up until now, some fabulous racing. I was telling you about the DTM race that happened a little earlier. Kelvin van der Linde mastered the conditions, and we talk about DTM because we are on the road to DTM. This is all very much linked. The ADAC, who do a great job promoting the ADAC GT4 Germany, and this along with GT Masters and DTM all connected together. So the winner of the Road to DTM Championship in ADAC GT4 will get funding to go into GT Masters next year. The winner in the Road to DTM Championship in GT Masters gets funding to go into DTM. So the big league very much in sight, and many of these drivers really, really talented. As we look down at the grid from the perspective of Turn 1. I mentioned that Philip Gogolok had done a phenomenal job in qualifying this morning. They really have had to dig deep to find a setup on the Zakspeed ESM Aston Martin, but Philip Gogolok in his strongest position to get a podium. It would be his first podium in ADAC GT4 if he could get this home in that position. His best so far has been an 8th place at the Nürburgring last year and an 8th place at Oschersleben this year, but he's one of many up-and-coming superstars. He's part of the Aston Martin Racing Driver Academy, and one to keep an eye on starting on the front row, and he would dearly love to get the Aston Martin in front of Gabriel Piana in the BMW, but that is no mean feat, because Gabriel Piana is the only driver on this grid to have started every single race in ADAC GT4 Germany. So that is a fair few races. I'm gonna have to look at my statistics to find out how many races he has actually done. Gabriel Piana, this is his 67th race. All of the 67 races that we've had in the 6 seasons of ADAC GT4 Germany, well, they're in the warm, well, not so much warm, but they're in the dry. They can see themselves on the big screen. There is a very big crowd in here this weekend who have been enjoying DTM. They will be enjoying, in theory, ADAC GT4 Germany. We had a blinder of a Porsche 6th Carrera Cup Germany race earlier. That was won by Harry King from Great Britain, and that was an absolute thriller. Coming up after this race, all being well, weather permitting, we have the Prototype Cup Germany. That's been making the headlines because we have Ralf Schumacher returning to competitive racing for the first time in 12 years, along with his son, David Schumacher. The two of them are competing in Prototype Cup Germany, which comes straight after this, assuming we ever get the thing going. And if you're watching this live, please do check out Prototype Cup Germany coming next. I know it's going out on YouTube and various other channels as well. That will be entertaining. They are a championship that have been absolutely brilliant this year. So, as we look down towards Turn 1, the streams are flowing. Waiting for a couple of ducks to come floating past. The session is under red flag. We are trying to get race 7 of a 12-race season underway, fairly unsuccessfully at the moment. I'm looking out of the window, and the rain is still coming down. We are entertaining. Yeah, well, there's one guy there. It's too hot, clearly. Be thankful we haven't got the kiss cam going this year. Well, not this weekend. We had it at Oschersleben, and that was a sight to behold. Not sure it's an experiment to be repeated. But yes, an awful lot of people here squeezing in to the Nürburgring for this weekend's racing, the first of 2 days of racing. There's a really enthusiastic fan at the back there. We say good afternoon to you. We need more fans like that. I mentioned earlier, we've got KCMG, the team from Hong Kong, on the grid, and we're really pleased to have them here. So last year, they brought the one and only Toyota Supra, and they've done it again this year. Great to have a Supra on the grid. We saw a Supra with a full-time entry a couple of years ago, but guesting last year. The Supra in the hands of what will be Tom Bewley and William Exton. They are certainly the most furthest distant travellers. Right, well, Arnaud, who has messaged me from Turn 1, he says the heavy rain has stopped there. So, optimism to be had. Our man on the ground says that we have well, not no rain, but it's stopping out on Turn 1. So I'm just looking longingly out of the window, more for the sake of everybody who's having to listen to me rabbiting on, that we can get this race underway before too long, because if the rain is starting to rescind a bit, then we should be able to get these cars at least rolling. That's one of our microphones Is it any wonder that the sound is muffled sometimes? Our hard-working film crew and tech crew have been out in all conditions setting this up. We'll be out in all conditions taking it all down again when this weekend is over. Also, a big shout-out to the Marshals, the Orange Army, who are out in all conditions and proving their devotion to the sport as they're out in the misty conditions here, just in the shadow of Nürburgring Castle, by the Nordschleife, the legendary Nordschleife. Not using that this weekend. So I was saying about KCMG. Yes, hello there, from Hong Kong, with the two drivers from New Zealand, and they won the New Zealand Toyota 86 Championship last year, a really competitive championship. And it's a great way of getting international experience, and that's exactly what Toyota Gazoo Racing New Zealand want to do. They want to select drivers to give them some international experience. Brock Gilchrist and Ryland Gray last year, really impressed with their 20th and 10th place. And Tom Bewley and William Exton have, well, they've got a fairly high benchmark to aim for because their compatriots did such a good job. But it's taken a bit of adjusting, not just the weather here in Germany, probably something very different to what they're used to in New Zealand. So they arrived on Monday, and they were in the simulator learning this track, learning all the ins and outs. Then getting that seat fit done. Their first turning a wheel in anger here was on Thursday during a test session, and we had free practice on Friday as well, and then qualifying this morning, and a really solid job to qualify in 14th place. So that's a really good job from Tom Bewley. Also, just to mention again, Damon Sazishin, going pro. So we saw him last year racing in the Pro Sport Aston Martin, and oh, we've got news. So we've got 10 minutes and the racing will be underway. So time to get the kettle on if that's your poison, and we'll be hopefully getting this underway within 10 minutes. So Damon Sazishin, who heads up Going Pro, and if you've not checked it out, I would recommend you check out the show. It's very much, last year was a documentary featuring him and all the drivers for Pro Sport Aston Martin. And, of course, they were the team that their drivers won the championships. So Hugo Satter and Mike David Altman were running for Pro Sport last year. So it was following their progress, as well as Fabian Volven and Celia Martin, also Leon Ergers and Rafael Renhofer's, their progress as well. A really good documentary. It's called Going Pro. Google it and check it out. And I think Damon is once again recording all of his antics this weekend as he looks to continue the Going Pro thing. He's from Canada, so he's come the second furthest after the New Zealand drivers, and he has also done a series for GT4 America, did that in 2022. Now, he has teamed up, I haven't even mentioned Jan Matthias yet. 20-year-old, he was in the BMW M2 Cup last year. He finished in 6th place. He's been in the Central European Zone Formula 3 Championship. That was in 2022. He is sharing that seat with Damon Sazishin. So really good to welcome him to the grid. And I understand they are planning on doing the rest of the season. So that will be tomorrow, and the Red Bull Ring and the Hockenheim Ring. And hopefully we will see them back again next year. Also, to mention Max Osten, really good to have him on the grid, sitting in for Mo Ritson. And because we've got time, we say keep yourself warm and safe, Mo, and we look forward to seeing you back at the Red Bull Ring. Just be thankful if you're not feeling well, you're not sat in a car in these conditions, because that really would have tested you, wouldn't it? But hopefully you're taking it easy. I would say enjoying or enduring this coverage while we wait to get the race underway. We're about 7 minutes away from getting this started in theory. As long as the rain now continues to hold off. Right, having a look again at that spin for Tom Edgar that saw him drop from his starting position on the 7th row down to the back of the pack. And it just shows you how tricky the conditions are. Tom, who is a third-generation racer, his dad and his granddad, racers in their own right who have made their names. Tom, who comes from Belfast, we saw him in last year's GT4 European Series. He was third in the Silver Cup, got a win in that one. We've also seen him in the British GT Championship in the GT4 category. That was in 2022. He got a fourth place with one win. He came from karting, as did many of the drivers. And also Ginetta Junior Championship. That's another series that's worth checking out in the UK. He has 3 wins in 2021. He's going to have to put all of his experience to good use, coming from what will be the absolute back of the pack in these tricky conditions, with visibility very much at a minimum. He is sharing with Joe Warhurst, another driver from Great Britain. Pardon me for focusing on the drivers from Great Britain. And we saw Joe in the Porsche Sprint Challenge Great Britain last year. He's another one who's come from karting. Started quite late at 12 years old, almost an old man. Ginetta Junior in 2022 got a 5th place there. In that championship, and in 21 he got an 18th. He's one of the BRDC rising stars. I can confirm that, having seen them racing. Still very much looking to match what was a highlight of the season at the season opener for them. They got a 6th place in race 2 at Oschersleben. Were thoroughly entertaining in doing so. I've been very much in the wars, testing the strength of a BMW M4, but entertaining us along the way. They're running for FK Performance, who have 4 cars out on the grid for this. I'm looking at the commentary box window. The rain has stopped here. I'm told it has increased a bit in turn 1. Oh, don't please. But we are hoping we can keep this one going. We'll keep it, get it going. Because then you're going to have to not put up with my constant drivel. 5 minutes and counting. Look how murky it is. So the cars on the grid are getting ready to go. So after this, we have a break. We're going to head to the Red Bull Ring. That will be in Austria. It'll be our one and only round outside of Germany, and that is always entertaining there. Always good for the BMWs, actually. Very strong around the Red Bull Ring. Good overtaking opportunities there. Then Hockenheim, as mentioned already. Yeah, I'm going to have to start leaping through the notes now until we can get this thing going. Right, here's a useless fact for you. So the ADAC MX Motorsport Porsche, Senna Sommerbell is driving that at the moment. All being well, once the pit stop has been done and dusted, Tommy Gore will be taking over. Now, his father is a legend in Jamaican motorsport. Doug Hollywood Gore, as we like to call him, is one of the most famous names in Jamaican motorsport. His chosen steed in the late 2000s and in the early 2010s was an ex-Alped Audi TT DTM car, and that's what he used to use in the Jamaican motorsport. I'm going to thank Adam Weller for that useless bit of information, but such a rich tapestry, so much talent on the grid, and oh dear, look at that rain coming down once again. Well, we've had a note to say that 15:46 local time is confirmed for the start of this race. That's about 2.5 minutes away. So that's good news, isn't it? We're going to be splish-splashing through the puddles. I reckon we're going to have a few. They're lucky, aren't they? They're in the warm-up there. We're going to have maybe a few laps behind the safety car. We do need to get this going seriously because there is a schedule to keep to. We've got the next generation Cup cars coming up as well this afternoon. The electric cars with the mini shell. They are very entertaining. Electric in the rain. Yes, apparently it works. So they will be coming up. And of course, as already mentioned, the Prototype Cup Germany. So I can hear engines running. I can see rain lights flashing. I can hear a sigh of relief as everybody gets to actually watch some racing and not just listen to me whittling on about nothing much. The flags are soaking wet. That's how you dry a flag out. Give it a good old wave. The audience have stuck with us all the way. The grandstands are still packed. So hopefully those yellow flags are going to start waving very shortly. We are just over 1 minute away before we get this race back underway. In theory, it will be behind the safety car, obviously, to start things off. And we'll want to just get some heat into the tyres, into the brakes, maybe clear a little bit of water from the surface of the track. It is just very critical. We want to make sure we've got health and safety. We've got 6 different brands of cars on the grid. Of course, the Toyota joining us. We've got 5 Brits on the, well, no, it's 4, I'm afraid, because poor old Mo's not here. Oh dear, I'm rubbing it in now, aren't I? Yeah, we will. Normally, we have 5 Brits on the grid. For those who are watching from Great Britain, not that I'm biased or anything, we are fighting for the overall championship, the team champion, the junior champion, and the trophy champion. This is more entertaining than the racing, really, isn't it? As we're watching the marshals just getting the water out of the flags. And we are now about to get this thing underway. Of course, racing will resume behind the safety car. There will be no overtaking. It's going to be a minimum of 2 laps behind the safety car. It looks to me, looking out the window, that things are... Well, it doesn't look as bad as it has done, let's put it that way. As far as weather forecasts go, my dear German colleague in Porsche Carrera Cup Germany, Burkhard Bechtel, I asked him how you work out what the weather is at the Nürburgring. He says there is no way of telling. He says you have to ask an old farmer how his leg is doing. That's how they work out what the weather forecast is. I don't know any old farmers, so we're just going to look out the window. When I look out the window, I can see that the grid has cleared. We have cars moving around the track, so the clock now ticks. We have 55.25 minutes. Well done for sticking with us, everybody. Congratulations. Hats off to everybody. 55 minutes of this race to come. Hopefully we're going to see some overtaking at some point. We have seen some overtaking, but that was only courtesy of Tom Edgar doing a little pirouette for us. So Piana now leading the way. Gogolok in 2nd place. Josef Knopp in 3rd, ahead of Senna Sommerveld, Leon Wasserthurer, Ivan Eccleship, Mattis Pushkal, Jan Philipp Springop. I mentioned that he was doing a coach safari. I think he was one of the tour guides. The wonderful sight of DTM cars circulating around the Nürburgring with coaches full of people. It's worth checking out. If you're ever at an ADAC event, you want to sign up for it. They actually put the coaches out on the track while the cars are going round. Yes, it's true. They get drivers, normally GT4 drivers, to be the tour guides as well, to tell them what's going on. And it's thoroughly entertaining. It's quite bizarre seeing coaches out on the track as well as DTM. It's kind of like Bird is dictating pretty well how I feel at the moment. There's a good image as we look back from the Pirelli banner. So the cars up around turn 10 at the moment, the Vido chicane. And normally would be taken at very high speed, bumping across the curbs. I would suggest you want to avoid the curbs dramatically because they will be very slippery. Cars 20 and 84 have been instructed to change position. So that's Lachlan Robertson and Damon Suzishin. Clearly there was an issue there. So the race directors have told them to swap positions. That is at the back of the pack, so nothing significant at the moment. The gap between 1st and 2nd is 0.6 of a second. Like that means anything. Look at all the water there as we look into turn 1. That's a corner that is tricky when it's dry. There's a real bump at the braking point as you head into turn 1. And see many cars going straight on into the gravel trap. There's also a weird, it's kind of a reverse camber at one point. There's a downhill section as well, and it really is tricky. And get that right, you're doing well. You can see how much water there is on the track at the moment. So The rivers are flowing here at the Nürburgring, but hopefully it's going to clear. I do say, optimistically, looking out the window, it is looking fairly bright at the moment. So we're hopeful that this rain is going to at least diminish somewhat in the near future. And look at the water as we look at Gabriel Piana, the leading car. And I have to make sure that everything is well insulated in the electrics department, keeping things going. Philip Gogolok in that second place, itching to just duck past the BMW, but of course no overtaking. I've no indication as to when the safety car might be coming in. When it does, the lights will go off on the safety car, and it will be Gabriel Piana who would back the pack up and get them back underway. But as things stand at the moment, that's not looking like it's going to be in the next lap or so. In third place, Josef Knopp, one of the drivers who has very much impressed in ADAC GT4 Germany from Czech, and he was third in the GT4 Winter Series in the Pro-Am category. And he and Finn Zulauf, real up-and-coming superstars. And Finn Zulauf, I've said it before, I'll say it again, expecting to see him also going on to great things. They are winners in ADAC GT4 Germany, and Finn Zulauf, very rapid indeed. He was with Daniel Gregor last year and was a championship challenger. Look how deep those puddles are. So the car's currently circulating, trying to shift some of the water as the rivers flow over the curbs. If a driver does spin now and drop to the back of the pack, that will count because the race is underway. 50 minutes remaining. Be interesting to see. Oh, I'm so sorry, we've gone red again. So the red flags are out. We really are sorry about this. Unfortunately, we can't do anything about the weather. So we're back into red flag conditions. So the cars are going to have to come back to the grid. And this is not looking great, is it? So red flags are out. We have had reports that the water is starting to come down. The rain is starting to come down. So cars currently around turn 6. It's a bit of a waiting game, really, isn't it? There is the option, potentially, to schedule the race at a different time, but we've had no notification of that. I don't know how much flexibility there is in the calendar. With such an action-packed calendar here at the Nürburgring, with so much going on, it is hard to reschedule some of these races, but I think there are gaps. It'll be dark before too long if things remain as they are. So the car's circulating back round. There is the Max Rosam car just coming through your picture. The BMWs, which are very prevalent in GT4 Germany this year. And interesting, Razun Mordan Racing, who have been running pretty well exclusively Porsche Caymans for Damon Sazishin and Jan Matthias, have got a BMW M4 GT4 G82. And Damon saying that the BMW has really suited his driving style. He's really enjoyed driving that, maybe more so than he's adapted to the Aston Martin last year. And he's really enjoyed his comeback. It is quite a steep learning curve for him. So the cars driving back to their grid positions once again. That's the instruction that has been given. Looking at the chicane here. That's David Lackner, who just to add insult to injury for Tom Edgar, just chucks a bucket of water on the windscreen as well. So David Lackner, who shares driving duties with Philip Dietrich, and another young pairing who are learning this the hard way, and this is the hard way, doing this in the wet. So David Lackner, who is come from karting, and he's moved into karting, moved into car racing from karting with Wimmer Werk. He's a 2-time national champion in karting, has been doing that since the age of 8. And his teammate, Philipp Dietrich, really entertaining driver. He's from Austria. Last year was in TCR Eastern Europe. He finished 14th in that one with a podium, and a very welcome addition to the grid here in ADAC GT4 Germany. I'm going to work my way through the whole grid talking about the drivers at this rate. I'm doing it in reverse order. I was going to mention Lachlan Robinson in the 84 car. We are working our way up the grid. He's in 21st place at the moment, as we just see Gabriel Piana sliding it through the chicane. Lachlan Robinson, it's his 2nd season here in ADAC GT4 Germany, and he's Emirati and Australian, joined last year for the last 2 rounds. He got a 17th place at the Sachsenring, 9th in the GT4 Winter Series in the Pro category. He's another one who was karting until recently, but he had traumas. I believe it was the alternator in qualifying this morning. Right, we've got another time. It's 9 minutes time. We are due to be getting back underway. Well, you've got to hand it to them for trying, haven't you? So another 9 minutes at 4:05 local time. I know a lot of people watching on TV and online around the world. Thank you for enduring this. Thank you for putting up with me wittering on. I would just give you silence, but I'm not allowed to do that. So well done. Congratulations. Talk amongst yourselves, because we hope we're going to bring you some racing in less than 9 minutes. So there you go. There's your confirmation. So cars are back on the grid. I'm working my way up the grid here now. So 20th, Gianni van der Kratz. So he is the teammate to the aforementioned Mo Ritson, who is actually watching. So nice to know that he's enjoying. What's he saying? He's very warm. Apparently he's 102 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah, well, you're on your own on that one, mate. I'm freezing here in the commentary box. So Mo Ritson, who is watching on from the UK. Damn you, COVID. That's all we can say about that. And we are looking forward to having you back. And Max Osten is going to try not stack the car or do anything in the seat or anything like that. Gianni van der Kratz is the teammate in the number 48 car. And Gianni, he was in the GT4 Winter Series, 10th in the Pro-Am category. We also saw him in 2023 in the BMW Benelux Championship. He's also guested in the M2 Cup. He has come from the Ford Fiesta Sprint Cup in the Netherlands. So that's something a bit different, isn't it? Ford Fiestas, and then suddenly sat in a BMW in the pouring rain at the Nürburgring. Yeah, he's doing a pretty solid job. He and Mo, well, their best result this year has been a couple of 8th places. And that was at Oschersleben, the season opener, and Lausitzring. Have also been in the wars as well, especially at the Norrisring. And that was the that was where Mo Ritson's parents had to get in a car and drive through the night to get spare parts for the car after free practice, just so they get the thing on the grid for the following day. Least they could have done was bring it home in the points, and that's exactly what they did. They got a 10th and a 15th place at the Norrisring. So, how long have we got left? 6.5 minutes. We're getting there. There's a sense of deja vu here, really, isn't there? So the car's just waiting. The tractor at the back there, don't think he's racing. He's cleaning the track up. The staff doing a great job. And it is actually starting to look pretty bright out on the pit straight. I'm just clawing away, clutching at any optimism here that we will get this underway. As we look at the cars, as they wait for, well, the clouds aren't going to clear. I don't think you could probably put the slick tyres away, I think. We are optimistic of better weather for tomorrow. 3:15 tomorrow is the second race of the weekend for ADAC GT4 Germany. So the forecast like it means anything at the Nürburgring. The forecast is for potentially dry weather tomorrow. But don't hold me to that, because it may not happen. Fifth on the grid, Leon Wasserfahrer. Yeah, I've already mentioned him. He properly entertained us. Even Eccleschick is 6th on the grid in the number 91 car. So even Eccleschick, who shares with Ferdinand Winter. Ferdinand was in a Mercedes last year, if I remember rightly. He will be doing the 2nd stint in that car. Even Eccleschick, good qualifying from him. His best result of the season was a 4th place at the Nürburgring last time out, so he clearly enjoys the street circuits, and that was his best ever result in ADAC GT4 Germany. Let's embarrass a few spectators while we're at it. There's a lot of diamond screens around this circuit, and it's always good to zoom in on some people and just don't be at a race circuit with somebody you shouldn't be with, or when you're meant to be at work or anything like that, because our director has a real talent of finding people who shouldn't be here and putting you on the big screen and on the TV. But thank you for sticking with us. Nice to see you've bought some DTM merch. There's plenty of that around as well. I think the DECRA hats are very prolific here this weekend. The red DECRA hats, which you can obtain sometimes free of charge. They're giving them out around the place, so it's a good bit of advertising there. So yeah, big crowd still sticking with it. It's good to see the embarrassment, isn't it? Here at the Nürburgring, under the shadow of Nürburg Castle, in the puddle, around the moat around Nürburg Castle in the Eifel Mountains. Just to the right of where I'm sat at the moment is the Nordschleife. Just be thankful we're not on that this weekend. Yeah, there's me. There I am. Yeah, wave. Yeah, that's a big old circuit, that is. 20.8 kilometres, the Nordschleife, of course, used for the Nürburgring 24-hour race. Oh, it was Eng. I thought it said England on the short, but I think that's probably more Philip Eng supporters than England. But anyway, yes, good to have you here, everybody. Yes, the Nordschleife, nicknamed the Green Hell by Jackie Stewart, and has been the scene of many a legendary race. And of course, the Nürburgring 24-hour race takes place there. And if you're used to stoppages and delays and fog and rain, you will be if you've been watching the Nürburgring 24-hour race, because every year there seems to be something like, oh, there we go. Well, there we go. PDAs, everybody. So yes, I'm assuming they're meant to be doing that. So yes, the crowd waving to the cameras. Oh, this is true love going on in the top right-hand corner of your screen. It's giving me a kind of a warm, fuzzy feeling, really. The heart is upside down. That looks more like a, well, I would tell you what that looks more like, but so you need to flip the heart over. Right, who are we going to get on the kiss cam now? Well, I don't know, really. The people started to quake. the blood draining. Oh, there he is. He's smiling. Up there. Come on. Here we go. Right. In for the kiss cam, please. I knew this was going to come back. Somebody told him the heart is. Oh, right. No, the heart's sideways. Right. We're right. Come on. Oh, no. Come on. Don't bottle it. No, not on my watch is that happening. He was up for it, though, wasn't he? But clearly not. Yeah. OK. Well, thanks for trying. I'll have to try somebody else now. Welcome back, the kiss cam. This is what we like to entertain us when the rain is coming down. We're looking up into the hospitality suites at the, in the moment. And yeah, oh, that's good. And we got the special effects crew on as well. Oh, we love you. We love you all as you look on in the warmth. I have to say, you're probably a number of people kind of feeling resentful to those that are in the warm and the dry at the moment with a beer in the hand. I mean, oh, come on. Yes. Right, where are we? 16:05, what's time? 16:03 and a half, so we're about 90 seconds away. Please make it go quick. Of this, before we can get this thing back underway. Now, I'm just going to have a look out the window. It looks to me, don't quote me on this. Oh, look. Oh, thank you very much. Yes, well, they're the first ones who've actually got this done, so thank you. Yeah, have a fizzy cola bottle on us. Right, yes, I was going to say it stopped raining, but as I look out the window, it is just starting a little bit now, but it's certainly not as heavy as it was. So, we are optimistic. Oh, well, everybody's at it now. I'm kind of pleased I'm solo up in the commentary box at the moment. Yes, we're springing this on people now. Right, where are we? So we are about 30 seconds away from hopefully getting this underway. The engines are running. The rain lights are flashing. I'm going to be going for a little sit down. I'm going to do prototypes after this. I hope you've got some sympathy for me. The engines are running. There's some laughter in the background. And we are about to recommence behind the safety car here at the Nürburgring. It was about 3 days ago that we tried to start this race, and we're still trying to get it started. Race 7 of a 12-race season. The yellow flags are flying. Right, come on. Everybody, keep your fingers crossed, keep everything crossed that we can actually get this thing under green flag conditions. So, this is the view from Josef Knopp into turn 1, that tricky corner. This, we get another red flag. I'm going to be on the prototype notes after this. So, right, the marshals, who will certainly need to dry off and have a cup of tea once this is done and dusted. We're going to have a minimum of 2 laps behind the safety car. And then who knows what will happen. They're just heading around. Well, that's the view from turn 2. But right, we're up at turn 4 at the moment. The Cupra safety car is about the only thing we haven't spoken about so far. Leading the pack around. So once again, weaving. There is Even Eccleshick in the very distinctive Wimmerwerk orange and white Porsche. I'm starting to feel bad about the drivers in the midfield that I've spoken about now, but please don't will that on anybody. Just generating a bit of heat behind Even Eccleshick is Mattis Plusgol in the BWT Motorsport Mercedes, who shares with Luca Bosco, and great to have them. Luca comes from Italy. Mattis, who comes, well, he's registered in Germany. And really good combination of drivers. They have very much impressed here in the ADAC GT4 Germany this year. And Mattis, who's from Rostock in Germany, and Luca Bosco, who was born in Nice in France, so a useless bit of information for you there, and is a very useful pilot indeed. In fact, if he's racing for BWT Motorsport, he's got to be useful, because they don't employ anybody who isn't excellent. And Enzo Juliet and Mark Di Fulgenzio in the number 18 car, who are very much in the championship hunt in 4th place, 55 points behind the championship leader, currently in 10th place in this race. And yes, it is a race. I mean, we keep it going for another 48 minutes and 10 seconds. It will be counted as a race. In fact, I think we can get points if we can get it to about halfway, but don't quote me on that. So, cars are once again trying to get the heat into the tyres. And into the brakes. Safety car in this lap. Heaven forbid we are going to get to green flag racing. You've earned this one. You watch. This is going to be a classic. So, here we go then. 47 minutes and 40 seconds remaining on the clock. So the lights will go off on the safety car, and it will be Gabriel Piana who will back the pack up. So they're up at turn 5 at the moment, and he will back the pack up. Philip Gogolok will really be relishing the opportunity in these conditions to possibly make a challenge for the lead of this race. He's never finished on the podium in ADAC GT4 Germany, and this is a great opportunity for him. He has looked dialed in all weekend, as indeed has his teammate Jan Marszałkowski, who will, in theory, be jumping into the seat of that car once the mandatory pit stop has been done. The pit window will open 25 minutes into the race, so when the clock strikes 35 to go, that's when the pit window will open, and during that time every car will need to come into the pits for a mandatory stop and driver change. Right, here we go. Safety car into the pits. finally, we are going to get race 7 of this 12-race season for ADAC GT4 Germany underway, tiptoeing around turn 11 is Gabriel Piana, who will lead the field across the line. And finally, we are racing. Philip Goglock having a look to the outside. Now, don't chuck it into the gravel. He's just showing himself in the mirrors, trying to hope that Gabriel Piana goes to block him off. Will he come back to the inside? Yes, he does to a degree, but Piana's got this covered up. Everybody else tiptoeing their way through the puddles, but you can see Gogolock, he's got the pressure on to that BMW. What great driving from Philip Gogolock. A little look to the inside of championship leader Gabriel Piana. To remind you, Piana is leading the championship. He cannot afford to record a non-finish. Philip Gogolock, he is going for glory. He wants to get to the top step of the podium. He can afford to take risks. Gabriel Piana cannot. Through the mist and the rain they come on board with the teammate of Gabriel Piana. Oh, and what a shame. Senna Summerbell into the barrier in the Avia W&S Motorsport Porsche after such good progress in qualifying. Well, it looks as though he's certainly able to continue, so we won't get a safety car. As stand by your beds, that's all good news. But he just looked like he got it wrong. Yeah, so getting it wrong under braking. No traction to be had. Once you're on the grass, you're heading to the scene of the accident. It looks as though he's able to rejoin. You're hitting it head on. It doesn't look like it's damaged anything in terms of suspension. So as long as the radiator and the cooler is all right, then hopefully he can continue and bring it home. But after such a strong showing in qualifying, such a shame. But look at this for the lead of the race to the inside. Philip Gogolock past championship leader Gabriel Piana. The Aston Martin takes the lead of the race. We told you this was going to be worth the wait. Now along the pit straight in towards turn 1. Can Gabriel Piana reply to this? I don't think he can. Taking a fast inside line. He has a look to the outside, but Gogolock looking to have this covered off at the moment. He will be driving with his fingertips, feeling every puddle, making sure he can keep that Aston Martin pointing in the right direction. Now, Piana having a look to the inside. In third place, Josef Knopp just keeping a watch. So let's have another look here at a replay. It was out of the Vidal chicane, and Piana got it all wrong a little bit coming out of the chicane. You saw him picking up a bit too much curb. The BMW darted off in turn 10, left a gap on the inside, and Philip Gogolock saw the opportunity and took it. But now, can he hold on for 43.5 minutes plus 1 lap? This is going to be a tall order against a driver who has done so many laps around the Nürburgring. Gabriel Piana, he practically lives at this circuit. He knows it like the back of his hand. He has done many, many laps over many, many years. The young upstart has come through. Another young upstart in the shape of Max Rosam, also challenging for position in the number 46 BMW. Ahead of him, Jan-Philipp Springhoff and Andreas Jochimsen. But this is the race lead at the moment. Philip Gogolock, the driver who has been so frustrated with the Aston Martin, along with his teammate Jan Marszalkowski, now leading a race here at the Nürburgring. The other of the Hofer racing by Bong Motorsport BMWs with Leon Vasserthura at the wheel, coming under pressure from Mattis Plushkul around turn 11 onto the pit straight. So this will be for 5th place. Keep an eye on Jan-Philipp Springhoff. He's in 7th at the moment, but he looks to be a man on a mission. The quickest car on the track at the moment is even Eccleship, so the car in 4th place. So a lot of drama, a lot of positions up for grabs here in ADAC GT4 Germany. This is why we love it. This is why we sit through hours of red flags, because we want to see this kind of racing on board. But Josef Knopp, a gap to the inside of Gabriel Piana now. Piana really struggling to get that BMW to slow down on the corner. He saw the back end sliding out. This is allowing Philip Gogolock to break clear just slightly, but not by much. It was about 0.6 of a second last time around. Into turn 5 they come, the downhill section. Tricky corner to get right, but Philip Gogolock currently leading the way. Gabriel Piana in 2nd place. Then Josef Knopp there as well. The first two now just breaking clear a little bit from Josef Knopp. So important to keep it on the track. There are no points scored if you chuck it in the gravel trap and you don't get to the end of the race. But Gogolok holding it all together. We're about 6 minutes away from the pit window opening. It's still Piana putting the pressure on, trying to force Gogolok into a mistake. We said at the beginning of the season, this is one of the up-and-coming superstars in GT racing. He is being tested by none other than the 2021 champion in ADAC GT4 Germany. He has the pressure on, but he's holding on well. That looks like the number 9 car, Tano Neumann, going spinning. So he got together with the BMW and the Neumann car, well, it looks like he's escaped damage, but he drops to the back of the pack. This is first, second, third, fourth, fifth place going straight on. Matis Plushko losing the braking point. Everybody behind him also going straight on. You get the feeling that traction is very limited into turn one. Gogolok holding it all together. Keep an eye on Ivan Ekelschik in fourth place. Keep an eye on Piana challenging for the lead. And Gogolok goes just a little bit too much power. And suddenly Piana is through. Now, can he keep the engine running? Yes, he can. So Gogolok rejoins. Now, that was just behind Tom Bewley in 10th place. So that will be 10th place now for Philip Gogolok. What a shame. He'd done all the hard work, but I don't think there was any contact. I think he just got on the power. Hard to see from that angle, but car 55 goes spinning. It's under investigation by the race steward, so maybe there was a little bit of contact. So Gogolok went spinning in the background, Josef Knopp and Ivan Ekelschik. By my reckoning, Ivan Ekelschik is looking like the danger man in this race because he has snuck through past the two cars in front of him. You saw it at the top of that replay. So more than being a danger man, Ivan Ekelschik is leading the race. Car number 91. The best result he has had so far was a fourth place at the Nürburgring. And now leading here, we're on board with Josef Knopp as he looks at Gabriel Piana. Now, where's Philip Gogolok? He's down in 11th place, so a podium looking a little less likely now. Such a shame for the young charger, but he has shown what he can do in these, the trickiest of conditions. The stewards have had a look at that incident, and they've said no further action. So they have declared there was nothing untoward going on, and there will be no further action between Gabriel Piana and Philip Gogolok. 38.5 minutes, just under, plus 1 lap remaining of this race. It's Ivan Ekelschik who leads the way, the driver who appears to have a handle on these conditions. It is his 17th race in ADAC GT4 Germany. His best result ever has been a fourth place. That was last time out of the Nürburgring, but he's got to get it to the pit window. He's got to hand it over to his co-driver, Ferdinand Winter. I should think Ferdinand Winter's heart will be beating hard as he waits for that car to come in when the pit window opens. That should be happening in about 2 3/4 minutes. Looking out of the window, well, I can see blue skies. So we're optimistic of this race going the distance in terms of weather. Ivan Ekelschik leading the way from Gabriel Piana. Josef Knopp, the leading junior driver in third place, ahead of Jan-Philipp Springhoff. Keep an eye on the 85 car. Just going through your picture there, Jan-Philipp Springhoff, Matis Plushko, after that moment in fifth place, ahead of Max Rosam, Leon Vassather and Andres Joachimsen. And there is the Supra with Tom Bewley at the wheel in ninth place, but now under pressure, Tom Bewley and Leon Vassather. So Vassather actually under pressure from Tom Bewley. There is Philip Gogolok and still struggling to keep the thing on the track and pointing in the right direction. So Bewley is in ninth place and Leon Vassather is in eighth place. Ahead of them, Andres Joachimsen. There is Max Rosam in sixth place. In towards turn one, we come once again. Vassather and Bewley and Joachimsen all fighting for that seventh place. And I have to say, What a great job from Tom Bewley in the KCMG Toyota Supra to remind you he has never even visited the Nürburgring before, not to mention raced on it, not to mention racing on it in the rain. He is from the other side of the world, guesting here this weekend and taking it to the drivers who have raced here many times before and sticking it to them properly in that 8th place. Leon Vasseter putting the pressure on. In 9th place, Marcus Eicheler has updated into the 8th place. So looking at them there across the curbs, and there's Eicheler just going through your picture as well. In the background, there's Philip Gogolog. So lots of challenging for positions, and just mastering these conditions is one thing, and then fighting for position as well. Even Eccleshek leads the way, but he only has about 0.6 of a second over Gabriel Piana in the Hofer Racing by Bonk Motorsport BMW. We are 26 seconds away from the pit window opening. Then it gets really confusing because there will be cars coming into the pits and some staying out. The strategy will be called by the team to decide whether to bring the drivers in, get them back out on some clear track, or whether to keep them out, maybe to maximise the driver who is perceived to be the fastest. For those who are watching us in Jamaica, Senna Summerbell is in 17th place at the moment, having made contact with the fence. Well, the main bit is he's still running. He's shown the potential, that is for sure, and will get the opportunity to do that again, along with Tommy Gore, his co-driver, in race 2 of the weekend tomorrow. There is Gabriel Piana in 2nd place at the moment. So, pit window is open. At the moment, there's nobody near the pit entry, so we'll wait to see who will be the first to blink. I should think some of these drivers will be quite happy to get out of the seat and go for a comfort break, because they have been in the seat of the car for quite a long time, albeit not necessarily racing. We have no penalties on our screen from the incidents that we have seen, so all is good in love and war. We're riding on board with 3rd place. That is a spin for Marcus Eicheler. That is such a shame. He was in 8th place, but he's now dropped a handful of positions. But he's on, he's lost it again, he rejoins. This time he makes a connection with the barrier. So real issues there. He spun, he rejoined, lost the traction and spun again. There's Gianni van der Kratz who comes through. So van der Kratz, who is in 19th place now. So that's how far back he's dropped, and he's gonna, bit of drifting around the corner. Right, David Lackner, the first into the pits. So he is handing over to Philip Dietrich, who will be limbering up in the pit lane as we speak. Also in, Josef Knott, handing over to Finn Zulauf. This is significant. This will be for 3rd place, and this is a strategy call from the crew at Avia WNS Motorsport. They've got the Porsche in earlier, and they're going to get the 31 car back out with Finn Zulauf at the wheel. At the moment, you see the clock ticking down. The clock starts at the pit entry, and that's where the 95-second countdown is. 95 seconds, a decent amount of time, so no need to do anything too dramatic getting in and out of the car. We're looking at a replay here. What we're going to look at here, this is the Marcus Eicheler spin that we saw earlier, taking a billboard with him as well. So a fairly miserable time after what was a very strong start to the race. And the back end of the car getting away. The DECRA sign will send a bill to him along with a liquid moly one, but that's the least of his problems. He's dropped down to the back of the pack, and his co-driver Philip Viskersham will be no doubt looking on from behind a cushion, I should think, at that. Right, splashing through the puddles, our race leader, Ivan Eccleshek. Get a feeling he might want to stay out quite late in the pit window. We've got several cars in now. So Emil Jerdrum into the pits. He's handing over to William Tregertha. Also Gianni van der Kratz, who's handing over to Max Osten. Welcome back to GT4, Max. Demis Zizin in the number 20 car. He is handing over to Jan Matthias. What a baptism of fire and water it is for Jan Matthias. His first racing laps in GT4 Germany in these tricky conditions. But it is the same for everybody. Our race leader predictably stays out I think Gabriel Piana is going to be staying out as late as possible into the window as well. They've got about 6.5 minutes before the window closes. As long as they don't miss the pit window, they can stay out for as long as they like. I was going to tell you about the countdown clock at the side of the driver's name. Obviously, that is from pit entry to pit exit. When the grey P goes green, that means they've done the pit stop, all is good. If the green P goes red, red P equals bad news, and it means that they've gone below the minimum pit stop time, so we hope to see none of those. What we are witnessing at the moment is Matis Plushko. No, is that the other? Yes, it is Matis Plushko in the number 8 car and the 86 car of William Tregurtha. So that's the car that has pitted, so a lap down. So Matis Plushko having to work through the traffic. The 86 car just keeping out of the way. So Plushko has Max Rosam for company. Rosam challenging hard for position. That is for 4th place. So a significant battle. Don't want to get slowed down, but keep an eye on Jan-Philipp Springhoff in the 85 car just ahead of them. He has proven to be very rapid indeed. Well, we know he's quick. He's already had a podium this year. He is a very rapid driver in GT4 Germany. It's Andres Jochimsen in the 77 car, currently in 6th place. Fighting for positions up and down the pack. No one is running away with it. Even Eccleship has about 1.5 seconds on Gabriel Piana. That's about as good as it gets, I think, at the moment in these conditions. But Jan-Philipp Springhoff up into 3rd place in the Data Lab Sports with CV Performance Group Mercedes AMG GT4. Try saying that after a couple of drinks. But further back, Matthias Plushko in 4th place and Max Rosam for company. The 46 car for FK Performance has been very rapid all season long. Max Rosam and Leighton Fury, both drivers who've come from the BMW M2 Cup, and in fact Leighton Fury, who is the outgoing champion in the BMW M2 Cup, have been so rapid in that car, and but for bad luck would be challenging at the top of the championship. Right, others into the pits. So Tom Bewley finally gets to hand the car over to William Exton, but we've got somebody, and it's the 32 car once again in the wars. There's smoke coming from it. Senna Somerville, well, that looks something fairly dramatic going on there. The 32 car at a stop at the side of the track, and quite wisely, I think Senna Somerville is getting out of there, because smoke, never a good thing. That's in turn 1. Now, whether he's made contact or whether that is a remnant from the earlier impact, but very sadly, Tommy Gore is not going to get a drive in that today. He will get to qualify that car for race 2 tomorrow. We've got a full course yellow on the circuit, and looks like something big has let go in the back of that Porsche 718 Cayman. So full course yellow is out. It means the drivers need to reduce their speed, and that is what they do. So the pit window is open. So those who haven't pitted are now seeing this as the opportunity. Of course, this is a cheap pit stop, because whilst everybody is out at a reduced speed on a circuit, it means that the drivers will get what could potentially be an advantageous pit stop. So into the pits comes race leader Ivan Eccleship. So he will be handing over to Ferdinand Winter. Gabriel Piana will be handing over to Mikael Schrey. So everybody who hasn't pitted, pretty well everybody heading into the pits now. So Jan-Philipp Springhoff hasn't, though. So Springhoff staying out, even though the opportunity for a cheap pit stop is there. I've got notification the pit window will be extended by 3 minutes. The full course yellow, maximum speed the cars can circulate is at 80 kilometers an hour. And I think the body language says it all. Yes, job done. Even Eccleship now hands the car over to Ferdinand Winter. No pressure, mate. That car was leading the race before this full course yellow came out. So the clocks are ticking down. So the only drivers that haven't pitted yet are Jan-Philipp Springhoff Andreas Jochimsen still out on track, and Simon Birch in the number 10 car. So both of those still out on track at the moment. Of course, no overtaking as Gabriel Piana takes his balaclava off. That has been a long old stint, and he now... Oh, that's Jan Marszałkowski's dad, Eric, who is saying hello to him. There's the confirmation of the pit stop window being extended by 3 minutes. So there is the reason that Eric's standing by, because Philip Gogolok and, well, whatever it was that caused the incident that saw Philip Gogolok spinning around, they've clearly no animosity there. And Jan Marszałkowski will get into the seat of that car. Oh, there's so much love around the Nürburgring today. I don't know where to look next. Right, into the pits comes Simon Birch, handing over to Denny Burnt. In the background, you can see Joe Warhurst. He has taken over from Tom Edgar, who's probably had enough for one afternoon, I should think. Leighton Fury has taken over from Max Rosam. You can see that from your graphic. So we're still under full course yellow at the moment. So our race leader is Jan-Philipp Springhob. So has Springhob been into the pits yet? Not that I can see, so definitely now he has. So Jan-Philipp Springhob, our race leader. The car that hasn't been in is Andreas Jochimsen. So interestingly enough, the ME Motorsport crew have decided not to bring in the BMW, the number 77 car. They've decided not to bring him in to hand over to Tommy Rackle quite yet. So a real roll of the dice for Markus Eicheller's team, ME Motorsport. Of course, Markus Eicheller, who races the number 66 car, the sister car of the number 77 one. Right, so this is Alex Connor, who is jumping into the seat of the 85 car. Jan-Philipp Springhob, his work is done for the day. Alex Connor, who's still looking for his first win in ADAC GT4 Germany. He's had one podium, a third place at the Lausitzring earlier this year. Heaven forbid, the sun's actually come out on the pit straight. Well, better late than never, that's what I say. So Jan-Philipp Springhob handed over to Alex Connor. Now, interesting that Andreas Jochimsen has not come in yet, even though it's full course yellow. Pit window, same being extended by 3 minutes. So doing the maths here, so there's another couple of minutes left, yes, of... well, there's the graphic there just confirming that. So I wonder if he'll come in at the last minute. So let's see where Springhob comes out of the pit in relation to the 91 car. Well, the 91 car is now just coming past the pit exit now. There it is. So that is the car that, when all the pit stops are done, will in theory inherit the lead, re-inherit the lead. So it is Ferdinand Winter ahead of Michael Schrey. Alex Connor, who's taken over from Jan-Philipp Springhob. Luca Bosco in there as well. So this is shaping up to be a very entertaining final 23 minutes of this race. The race that started about 3 days ago and is still going on now, courtesy of the Eiffel weather. The cars have been out on track for what feels like a very long time. Right. Andreas Jochimsen is our race leader. The 77 car, where is he? He's out on turn 9 at the moment. So will he come into the pits and hand over to Tommy Rackle? He's going to have to before too long, because the pit window will close. Right, finally, he peels off. It means that everybody who is going to pits has or is pitting. So into the pit lane he comes. That hands the race lead over to Ferdinand Winter in the number 91 car. He's currently up at turn 7 at the moment. Of course, he can go no quicker than 80 kilometers an hour, because we are under full course yellow, and we will wait for notification. Right, we've got a track sweeper about to join. I don't think he's been in for a driver change, has he? So he's at the pit exit at the moment. Don't think I've ever seen a track sweeper out on track during a full course yellow. So there comes the 77 car, just as the pit window closes. So a great perspective here of the driver. That's Jochimsen jumping out of the seat of that BMW M4. In comes Tommy Rackle, getting buckled up. There is your race leader, at least it will be, once he crosses the start-finish line. I don't think that Jochumsen, well, not Jochumsen, Rackle is going to be moving by the time that car comes across the line, but they are going at 80 kilometers an hour, so one only knows what position. I think the 77 car would have done quite well out of this. Don't trip over the mechanic chap. They're doing a good job there, so he's his job is done. He can go and have a little sit down and watch the monitors. Tommy Rackle, the German driver, at the wheel of the number 77 car. So we have a unscheduled entrant onto the track in the shape of the track sweeper. So clearly we're not going to be getting under green flag conditions too soon. And the 77 car is going to be coming quite close to that before too long. I should think there's somebody on the radio saying, just back out of it for a little bit, please. There's a BMW coming up the inside. There you go, you saw him in the brakes, didn't you? So here comes Tommy Rackle. He's the youngest driver in the field, might I add, at just 16 years old, doing a good job. He's had a couple of ninth places at Oschersleben at Lausitzring, and at 16 years old, he's getting some real experience and one of the superstars of the future. So he comes and rejoins behind Leighton Fury. So I'd say that was a good strategy from ME Motorsport, leading quite late, as long as he can keep it pointing in the right direction. So, oh, that's a sad sight. We were so excited to see Senna Sommerbell and Tommy Gore back on the grid, but we'll see him again tomorrow. The ADAC WNS Motorsport team providing them with a car that seems to be a little bit more suited to where they are at, and they've been very quick in all the free practice sessions. Timing screen, incident between 66 and car 9, no further action. So Philipp Gerschen and, well, it was Tano Neumann at the time and Markus Eicheller, but now Alain Gabet and Philipp Gerschen at the wheel of those cars. So Alain Gabet currently in 16th place and Philipp Gerschen in 21st place. So we're on a full course yellow. Now that everybody's done their pit stop, and interesting, washing the track. So clearly there is fluid down, and where we saw the number 32 Porsche going straight on, looked like something may have broken or let go of the back of that Porsche, and may well have dropped rather a lot of something slippery at a very critical point on the exit to the pit. So again, a good call from our very hard-working stewards and marshals to get something out there to clean the tracker. And like you need water on a day like today, but doing a sterling job getting the track cleaned up, and hopefully we can get this race back underway before too long. Of course, we're on a full course yellow, so the race is underway still. It's Ferdinand Winter. In theory, the gaps should not be changing. Mikael Schrey just doing a bit of the left and the right, just to maybe try and pressure Ferdinand into a mistake. Good luck with that. Alex Connor there, currently in a podium position. Our leading trophy driver in the trophy category, Alain Gabet, in 16th place, ahead of Hendrik Still, who's just behind him. Jan Matthias, who's taken over from Damon Sazishin, is in 22nd place. Alex Connor is our leading junior driver. The car in 3rd place, of course, fighting for the junior championship as well, with Luca Bosco in 2nd place on that. So the car's still circulating. Now, in theory, the gaps should be remaining the same. Well, the sun's come out anyway, if nothing else, and someone bring me something warm to drink, so I'll do the prototype up next. There is the 85 car with Alex Connor. Luca Bosco, he thinks I could just sneak past, they might not notice. Yes, they will. So Bosco there in that 4th place. Behind Leighton Fury. Leighton, who He won't thank me. I say it every race. He's won a championship in every series he's ever raced, by my reckoning, and so no pressure. He needs to get himself to the top of the GT4 championship. Well, he's heading in the right direction. He is the outgoing champion in the BMW M2 Cup. Comes from Johannesburg to be here and entertain us, and he does exactly that. He is a very rapid driver indeed, and he and Max Rozam have proven to be very good buddies and very good team behind the wheel of the number 46 FK Performance car. Behind them, Tommy Rackle in the 77 car. This is a steep learning curve, and solid job from his teammate. Now he's got to bring it home. In 7th place, despite that spin for Philip Gogolok, Jan Marszałkowski. So back in a good, solid points-paying position. If you can bring it home in 7th place, it will be their best result of this season. It won't be Jan Marszałkowski's best result ever, because he is a 3-time race winner in ADAC GT4 Germany. Right, while I've been rabbiting along, the green flags have come out. Look up, everybody. We're back racing again. Ferdinand Winter leading Mikael Stray into turn 1. In the background, Alex Connor, Luca Bosco, Leighton Fury, Tommy Rackle, and Jan Marszałkowski. Behind them, Tim Reiter, Joseph Ellerine, and Joe Warhurst. That's a good job for Joe Warhurst from the back of the pack up into 10th place after that spin for Tom Edgar at the start. So the 47 car also working its way up through the pack. The BMW looking strong. Certainly is in the hands of Leighton Fury, challenging for 4th place around the outside of the Mercedes. He went round the outside. That has become the inside, and he seems to have sailed past with relative ease. So Leighton Fury up into 4th place, but Luca Bosco having none of it, fighting back. Looks like a bit of damage on the Leighton Fury car on the front right corner. Doesn't seem to be doing too much to affect the handling, but Luca Bosco fighting back, showing what he's made of. Up ahead of him, Alex Connor, the last of the podium positions. There's your 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place cars, and 5th, all in there together. At the moment, Ferdinand Winter doing exactly what he needs to do, doing what even Eccleshick did at the beginning of this race, pulling out a gap in front of the Hofer Racing by Bonk Motorsport BMW. He's got 14.25 minutes plus 1 lap remaining of this, the longest race in the history of GT4 Germany. Look at Alex Connor, almost lost the back end in turn 9 through the Vidal chicane. He corrected it, pointed it back in the right direction, and carried on. Luca Bosco not close enough to capitalize on that little mistake. Leighton Fury there as well. Get the feeling certainly the top 5 might not finish in the order they're running in at the moment. Ferdinand Winter, he's opened up 1.8 seconds from Mikael Stray. Alex Connor looking dangerous in 3rd. Luca Bosco in the identical car, the Mercedes AMG, in 4th place, also looking quick. Leighton Fury pressuring from behind. There's Tommy Rackle, the young driver, in 6th place, trying to close in. At the moment, it's 3.1 seconds between Rackle and Leighton Fury. Then a little way back down the road, some 18 seconds behind Jan Marszałkowski. But after that spin, I think they'd be quite happy with 7th place, to be quite honest. So, challenge now for the last of the podium positions. Alex Connor with Luca Bosco filling his mirrors. But if Bosco makes the move and it doesn't stick, Leighton Fury is going to fill up the gap and steal the position away from both of them. There is 2nd place going through your picture. 3rd place, a 3-way battle for 3rd place. Alex Connor, Luca Bosco, Leighton Fury running absolutely nose to tail with 12.5 minutes remaining just at the top of your picture. You saw Ferdinand Winter splashing through the puddles, followed by Mikael Stray. It was 1.8 seconds. I think he's extended it a bit further than that. 12 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in this race. Ferdinand Winter, Mikael Stray, Alex Connor, that's your 1, 2, 3, but the 3rd place very much up for grabs. Alex Connor with Luca Bosco in the distinctive pink BWT car. but keep an eye on the BMW who is behind. Then it's Tommy Rackle, Jan Marszalkowski, then Tim Reiter, Josef Ellerin, Joe Warhurst rounding out the top 10. Then Daniel Drexel, Vin Zulaf. The pit stops didn't go well for them. So the number 31 car that was in very much a contender for a podium before the pit window, down in 12th place. So not good for them in the ADAC MX Motorsport pit, certainly for the number 31 car. Right, this is for third place. Luca Bosco sees a gap on the inside of Alex Connor. He fills the gap with pink Mercedes. It is Mercedes versus Mercedes. Connor giving as much as he dare with the right foot, but he doesn't want to spin the car around because otherwise he will lose a lot of points. But now Bosco to the inside of the corner. They come in towards turn 5 down the hill. In the background is Lane Fury ready to jump if these two get together. So it is advantage Luca Bosco into the podium positions. Alex Connor down into 4th place, but that will be still a good points haul. But Lane Fury wants to relegate him yet another position. Tommy Rackle 2 seconds behind, so at the moment Lane Fury can challenge and not risk giving a position away to somebody behind as long as he keeps it pointing in the right direction. 10.5 minutes remaining of this race. A race that has had a bit of everything. Currently being led by Ferdinand Winter and even Eccleshick for Wimmer Werk Motorsport. I don't think Wimmer Werk have been to the top step of the podium. I can't remember the last time I saw them there, but now leading the way from this battle, Mikael Stray with a gap. The gap is ahead of the 3rd place battle. Luca Bosco now with Alex Connor trying to come back in towards turn 1, but Bosco looks to have this covered up. But Alex Connor trying to be the last of the late breakers, but we've seen so many people get it wrong into turn 1. Leighton Fury taking a very wide line into turn 1 as well. Tommy Rackle still a long way back, 2.1 seconds. The gap between 1st and 2nd is 3.8 seconds. The gap between 2nd and 3rd is absolutely nothing because Luca Bosco finds a gap on the inside of Mikael Stray. A little bit of a slide for the BMW, so suddenly Luca Bosco moving up the order into 2nd place in the number 8 car. So Luca Bosco, who's taken over from Mattis Plushko, doing a solid job mastering these conditions. His best finish so far this year has been a 7th place at Oschersleben. He's never finished on the podium in ADAC GT4 Germany. At the moment he's in 2nd place. We saw some debris being kicked up into the air with 9 minutes remaining of this race. Can he do anything about Ferdinand Winter, who is 3.8 seconds up the road? We're keeping an eye on the lead gap. Luca Bosco is the man on the move at the moment. He took over from Mattis Plushko in the BWT Muka Motorsport Mercedes AMG GT4, and now he is moving up the order. The battle for 3rd place very much on. Mikael Stray coming under pressure from Alex Connor in the background. Leighton Fury, but look at Tommy Rackle. He is closing in on this battle as they head out towards turn 11 once again onto the pit straight. 8.5 minutes remaining of this race. You are watching the fight for 2nd place. Make that the fight for 3rd because Bosco has cleared off from this battle. Now to the inside, Alex Connor retaking that 3rd place, but this time at the expense of Mikael Stray. Now Stray will see the fellow BMW driver behind him under investigation. It is Luca Bosco's 2nd place under investigation for a potential incident between him and Mikael Stray. You saw the cars getting sideways, so the stewards taking a look at that. So is there going to be tears for Luca Bosco, or is he going to hold on to that 2nd place? Tommy Rackle can see all the fighting up ahead of him. What a mature drive from young Tommy Rackle, the 16-year-old, closing in on the fight for 5th place. At the front of that queue at the moment, it is Luca Bosco under investigation, Alex Connor, Leighton Fury, then We're on board with Tommy Rackle, Mikael Schrey there as well. So Tommy Rackle with Jan Marszalkowski a long way back down the road, but Rackle wants to get involved in this battle as well. At the moment, he's not close enough, or is he? Mikael Schrey suddenly looking vulnerable to another of the BMWs. He's got BMWs all around him, coming under attack. Mikael Schrey, who took over from Gabriel Piana. To remind you, he is the championship leader. The rain light flashing as they head flat out around turn 8, one of the fastest parts of the circuit. Then the heavy braking into the Vidal chicane, less than 7 minutes remaining. Mikael Schrey still holding off Tommy Rackle at the moment for ME Motorsport. What an impressive drive from Tommy Rackle as he looks to put the pressure on. The incident between Luca Bosco and Mikael Schrey, no further action. So the stewards have had a look at that and decided that nothing has gone on that is untowards. The gap between Ferdinand Winter and Luca Bosco up to 5.6 seconds. But I think Luca Bosco would take a second place after the kind of race that we've had this afternoon. I think finishing on the podium, well, everybody deserves a medal for what they've done this afternoon. It has been a very long but entertaining afternoon. Luca Bosco and Matis Pliskoli started in 7th place, but now Piana goes spinning as a result of contact with Tommy Rackle. Also, car 47 under investigation for speeding under the full course yellow, but this is significant. Mikael Schrey, championship leader, getting together with Tommy Rackle. Looked like Rackle went deep into the corner, ran out of traction, made a connection with the BMW, and the stewards are going to take a look at that. I wonder if there may be a sting in the tail here for Tommy Rackle after such a mature drive. The steward's going to be looking at that at the moment. Mikael Schrey in the car that was leading this race, now falling down the order into 6th place. And it'll be next down the road, Jan Marszalkowski in the 7th place. So I did mention the car 47 is under investigation for speeding under a full course yellow. That car there, the one with Joe Warhurst at the wheel, that has come from the very back of the pack. Now on board with Finn Zulauf, didn't come out of the pit stop sequence too well. In 11th place at the moment, make that 10th as he relieves the position away from Josef Ellerine, who's taken over from Niels Truger for FK Performance, one of the many FK Performance cars out on a track here in ADAC GT4 Germany. We're coming up to 4.5 minutes plus 1 lap remaining of this race, race 7. We didn't realize that GT4 could do endurance racing. Well, you do now, but there are just 4.5 minutes remaining. Our race leader coming through, that's not it, that's the other of the Vimov cars. That will be Philip Dietrich in the 71 car, currently in 23rd place. We're on board with Finn Zulauf. He trying to make up the ground. Ahead of him is Joe Warhurst in the 47 car, so heading in towards turn 1, a little bit too far back for anything too dramatic. Has a look to the outside, will tuck back to the inside. Will he? Maybe not, tries to hang it around the outside. Now he has a look to the inside. Warhurst going deep in towards turn 2. The Porsche looking to have good traction, but not good enough, and Warhurst holds on to that 9th place. So Zulauf in the championship hunt, and maybe not so much Joe Warhurst at the moment. So Zulauf needs the points, needs to not make a connection with the car in front and end up with a DNF. 3.5 minutes remaining. That was the back marking Philip Dietrich getting out of the way very wisely. Now Zulauf finds the route pass, but Warhurst trying to come back round the fast outside. He goes out wide onto the curbing, keeps the BMW pointing in the right direction, but is unable to wrestle that position back. And Finn Zulauf into that 9th place. It's going to take a little bit of work to try and get past him now. Instantly opens up a gap ahead of the number 47 car. We're into the final 3 minutes of racing. Jan Marszalkowski with Michael Schrey. So Jan Marszałkowski pushing his way forward. Just checking the number on the car. Yes, it is, because Tim Reiter is in there. No, it is Tim Reiter. I do wish they'd paint the cars different colours. So it's Tim Reiter, the other of the Hofer Racing by Bonk Motorsport BMW. So Marszałkowski coming under pressure. Michael Schrey still ahead, Tim Reiter behind. So he is very much the meat in a Hofer Racing by Bonk Motorsport sandwich. The Aston Martin, which has newfound pace here at the Nürburgring. Jan Marszałkowski looking for his best finish of the season so far, if he can hold on to that 7th place. But Tim Reiter in the number 3 car, putting an awful lot of pressure. He took over from Leon Vasserthura. A good combination in a car that we know is very quick indeed. 2 minutes remaining on the clock. We're witnessing the battle for 7th place. Michael Schrey is some 15 seconds up the road to this battle that we're looking at. So the fight for 7th place, Tim Reiter putting the pressure onto a driver who is a former GT Masters winner, and that car looks to be minus a rear windscreen. I don't know if there was one in it at the start of the race, but certainly looking like some additional air conditioning at the back of that Aston Martin. But Jan Marszałkowski holding on to the 7th place at the moment. He needs to do it for another minute and 20 seconds plus 1 lap. Ferdinand Winter looks to have the lead very much under control. He was 5.1 seconds. He's coming across the line any time now, so the gap, well, it's come down by about a 1/10, but nothing to worry about for all the Ferdinand Winter fans. But this battle very much up for grabs. 7th place, Jan Marszałkowski. How desperate will Tim Reiter be to get past the Aston Martin? Out of turn 11 they come. The windscribe is still going. Lovely bit of drifting from Jan Marszałkowski, sliding the Aston Martin out onto the pit straight in towards turn 1 once again. Actually, I think the tyres on both those cars are pretty shot. Marszałkowski fighting the inside line, defending the inside line into turn 1. Vasserthura, no it isn't, car 3, Reiter has had a look to the inside, tries to make the move, but the inside becomes the outside now. Has he done enough? Marszałkowski just keeping it tidy, but it is at this point that he loses the position. So down to 8th place, Tim Reiter, who took over from Leon Vasserthura in car number 3, stealing a 7th away, but 8th place, still a good job for car number 55 with Jan Marszałkowski at the wheel. If they can bring it home here in 8th place, it will equal their best result of the season. There is our race leader, Ferdinand Winter, who took over from Ivan Eccleshick at the wheel of the Wimmer Werk Porsche out into turn 11 at the moment. The clock has struck 0, so he will be about to start what will be his last lap of the race. Race 7 of the season for the ADAC GT4 Germany. It will be a first ever win if he can do it. His best result ever in ADAC GT4 Germany was a 4th place last time out at the Nürburgring. As we see Leighton Fury in that 4th place with Tommy Rackle. No penalties incoming that I can see for Tommy Rackle, but keeping the pressure on Leighton Fury. But what a drive from Ivan Eccleshick and Ferdinand Winter. Neither driver has ever won a race in ADAC GT4 Germany. Neither driver has ever stood on the podium in ADAC GT4 Germany. Now just needs to bring it home. Don't get caught up with a back marker. Just moving to the inside, Philip Viskirchen, who gives him plenty of room into turn 6 on the final lap of this race. Looking for that debut win, Luca Bosco in 2nd place, looking for his first ever podium in ADAC GT4 Germany in the number 8 car. His and Matis Plushko's best ever finish has been a 7th place. So history about to be written here in the rain at the Nürburgring into the Wiedel chicane for the very last time. taking the curbs nice and gently out in towards turn 10. Can he breathe a sigh of relief? He most certainly can, because out of turn 11 onto the pit straight, finally we have a race winner, and it's a first-time race win for Ivan Eccleshik and Ferdinand Winter across the line for Nürburgring Motorsports. What a result after such a challenging race. Second place goes to Luca Bosco and Mattis Plushko, and third across the line, Alex Connor and Jan-Philipp Springhob, a valuable haul of points. In fourth place, it'll be Max Rosam and Leighton Fury. Then Tommy Rackle in car 77 ahead of Andres, with Andres Jochimsen, ahead of Mikael Schrey, our pole sitter, and Gabriel Piana, the pole sitting car. The other of the Hofer Racing by Bonk Motorsport BMWs in seventh place, Leon Vasserthura and Tim Reiter. And a solid eighth place for Jan Marszalkowski and Philip Gogelok. Looking forward to seeing what they can do tomorrow ahead of Finn Zulauf and Josef Knopp, ninth place, Joe Warhurst and Tom Edgar. And you can see how much this means. I look like Theo Everhauser in the pits. I look like that to me, who was given the congratulations. He's somebody who we've seen in GT4 in the past. But Nürburgring Motorsports, I do believe, I need to check, that is their first ever win. Yes, it is Theo Overhaus, who is watching on in the pits as well. But Nürburgring Motorsport taking the top step of the podium. Felix and Max Wimmer, who founded the team in 2015. We got so used to seeing them in TCR Germany, and here they are now taking the top step of the podium in ADAC GT4 Germany. And what a way to do it, beating what has been incredible challenges. The elements, the other drivers, they didn't just win it, they absolutely dominated it in the latter stages. 4.2 seconds. There is in the background David Lackner, who is sharing driving duties with the other of the Nürburgring Motorsport cars, with Philip Dietrich at the wheel, and he brought it home. Anybody who survived that race is a winner in my book. But the official winner, Ivan Eccleshik, Ferdinand Winter, Mattis Plushko, Luca Bosco, then Jan-Philipp Springhob and Alex Connor. Max Rosam and Leighton Fury in fourth place, ahead of Andres Jochimsen and Tommy Rackle. Mikael Schrey and Gabriel Pana in sixth, ahead of Tim Reiter and Leon Vasserthura. Jan Marszalkowski and Philip Gogelok in eighth, ahead of Josef Knopp, Finn Zulaus. Then Joe Warhurst and Tom Edgar rounding out the top 10. There you can see the remaining cars scrolling through. It has been a challenge. It's been a challenge for the drivers. It's been a challenge for the commentator. Thank you to everybody who stuck with it. I hope you found it worthwhile, because we were rewarded with an entertaining race. We've been rewarded with history. There's Mattis Plushko congratulating Luca Bosco. Lots of happy faces. I should think that Alex Connor and Jan-Philipp Springhob will be pretty happy as well. Their second podium of the season in third place. You get a feeling there may be some wines flowing in the paddock tonight. Just lovely to absorb the atmosphere. And Nürburgring taking what I believe is their first ever win in ADAC GT4 Germany as well. Ferdinand Winter, oh wow, isn't that amazing to see just how much it means to friends, loved ones and family. You can't kiss her wearing that, mate. It doesn't work. Brilliant. Just the emotions. And of course, last year we saw Ferdinand Winter in Mercedes. Right, here we are, the podium. We're going to get on with the podium because it's been an awful long time since this race started, or at least tried to start. But we're going to enjoy this podium, aren't we? Because this is man and machine versus the elements. There is Jan-Philipp Springhoff and Alex Connor. Matis Plushko and Luca Bosco. So happy for them. Great guys who are so passionate about what they do. But the biggest smiles of all gonna go to Ivan Eccleschick and Ferdinand Winter. Who knew? Top step of the podium. So Felix Wimmer will get a trophy for being the winning team. So now we get ready for the national anthem. So the slightly shortened version. We've still got more racing to come this afternoon. So here comes the trophy presentation. Jürgen Heiker, Board of Management for ADAC Sport Westfalen. Look at the smiles. Isn't that just what you love to see? Marco Jenscheder, board member for the finance at ADAC Westfalen EV, presenting the trophies for second.
Kai Winkler, Koordinator bei Pinelli Motorsport, für die Drittplatzierten für Jan-Philipp Springhoff und Alex Connor.
Jan-Philipp Springhoff and Alex Connor. Kai Winkler, coordinator Pirelli Motorsport, often see him presenting trophies. And the team trophy. Typical, race is over, the sun's come out. Everybody's like, oh, we're gonna have some more racing now. Just in time for the Prototype Cup, which is coming next. But it was a long old wait, but it was worth it in the end, wasn't it? ADAC GT4 Germany. It provided in the end, it always does. A series, no such thing as a boring race in GT4 Germany. Always entertaining. And guess what? We do it all again tomorrow. Well, hopefully the weather will not play such as big a part in it, because we'd like to have maybe a slightly shorter broadcast. But those of you who have been at this for the entire leg, thank you so much for sticking with it. I hope you felt rewarded by it. It was entertaining. It was history in the making. We'll see you at about 3:15 tomorrow afternoon to do it all again. Bye-bye.